So, can you continue on the question that I asked before about the United States and the Soviet Union in sports?
Sure. The Olympics were like the focal point of sporting competition between the two nations. And the Olympics were often the venue for that. Uh, I remember the Summer Games in 1972. Those are the same games where the Israeli athletes got slaughtered. There was a basketball game between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. And the Soviet Union ended up winning the gold medal that year. And it was just an outrageous sham of a mockery. It was a shamockery of officiating that gave the Soviet Union the gold medal in basketball. And I remember being just livid about that, just like walking around the house, and my dad was just like, kept telling me to calm down. But I just couldn't believe that the Russians, the only way they could beat us was to cheat, and seemed to be like some collusion with the officiating. So that was kind of frustrating. And it was just so satisfying when, you would see the winners where they have the gold, the silver, and the bronze medalists standing on the podium. And it was just, I remember really enjoying when an American would take the gold medal and seeing like one of the Soviets, either in the silver or the bronze position, having to stand there while our national anthem played. And now that I think about it, I still enjoy that.
Okay. So, my next question is, do you remember the Berlin Wall coming down?
Yes, I remember that. That was in the late 80s, beginning of the 90s. That was a really big deal because, and it kind of started earlier with the Polish labor movement. And all these little chinks started appearing in the monolith that was the Soviet Union in Eastern Europe. And it was definitely a paradigm shift because all of a sudden the Soviet Union and the facade of the Iron Wall just started crumbling down, and these nations started having a lot more autonomy than they had in the past. And that was a pretty vivid memory, and people were celebrating a lot over there. And I remember over here, people were just kind of, I don't know, maybe it was my age group or something. It was just kind of like a shock because we had been born into the Cold War, and then all of a sudden it was like ending when we were in our 30s.
Okay, and my last and final question is, how do you think future generations will remember the Cold War?
It's a good question. I think they're going to look at it as a pretty short historical period that was fraught with cataclysmic implications. I mean, one false step by us or by them, think of the Cuban Missile Crisis, could have just had civilization-ending consequences. In terms of duration, I mean, what was it, 45 to 90? So, for not even 50 years of the Cold War. So I think as time marches on, they're going to look at it as like something that's really interesting, but very short in duration.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Anytime.
All right. Have a nice day.
You too.